Hello there. Welcome to my views on news. First political alliance has been formed against the Ethiopian government, against the ruling Prosperity Party. I told you that 2025 is the year of political developments in Ethiopia. It could be a year of political upheaval too, but you will see new alliances formed. You'll see political leaders, politicians from different groups, different regions meet. And this is what I've been calling for. If you remember, I've been saying this is the time to start for politicians to be prepared for the next election. It seems that Somali region is taking the lead. Opposition politicians are forming an alliance there, it seems. Secondly, we have South Sudan, where curfew was imposed by police yesterday because of attacks on Sudanese people. There are over 800,000 Sudanese refugees in South Sudan, but people started protests against Sudanese people of South Sudan, and attacks were carried out. Police had to impose curfew. What happened? And lastly, viewers, Jubaland regional president arrived in Kenya on Saturday. Why is that? The internal issues of Somalia are handled by groups, people, countries abroad, or decisions about Somalia are made abroad. While Hassan Sheikh government says that it uh, wants to protect Somalia's sovereignty and territorial integrity, but if the decisions about Somalia are being made abroad, can we say that Somalia is a sovereign country? Let's start, viewers, with the first news story. It seems that first political alliance has been formed against the Ethiopian Prosperity Party, ruling party. Though it's just the beginning, the alliance has not fully taken shape. Meetings will be held in the next 3 to 4 months. We'll see a final shape of this alliance. We're seeing, by the way, several now political developments in Ethiopia, but all the political developments are happening outside Ethiopia. Why? Because unfortunately, Ethiopian government of PM Abiy is not giving free space. It is not giving the space to opposition parties for political activities in the country. So they have been forced to be active and alive abroad. There they are meeting, but definitely they'll make a push towards Ethiopia. This is what Jawar is planning to. Trying to mobilize people from abroad, but he will try to make a push towards Ethiopia in near future. Lidito is making a move coming to you. Otherwise, other politicians, they'll build alliances abroad and then they'll return to the country once atmosphere is conducive for them to start political activities. It seems that Ogaden National Liberation Front has formed a political alliance with a party in Europe. Alliance is about Ethiopia, definitely. ONLF laid down arms in 2018. It has been it fought for years for an Ogaden state comprising territories from Ethiopia, Somalia, etc. It could not materialize the dream of establishing Ogaden. It fought, and at one time it was being crushed by both Ethiopian and Somalia's governments. Its leaders laid down arms in 2018 when PM Abiy came to power. OLF signed a peace deal, ONLF signed a peace deal, other parties, other armed groups as well. But ONLF has been criticizing the Ethiopian government Prosperity Party of not honoring 2018 peace deal. It says that the deal signed in 2018 is not being respected, rather it is being violated. Ogaden National Liberation Front has formed an alliance with Sarda. Sarda is Somali Regional Democratic Alliance. Sarda and ONLF leaders met in Brussels, Belgium yesterday. They issued a statement and they announced to form an alliance formally in the next 3 months. Preliminary meetings have been held. They have announced the formation of Somali People's Alliance, SPA. But it will be formally founded in the next 3 months. An organizing committee has been established, which is going to start its work from today. In the next 3 months, SRDA, Sarda, and ONLF are planning to hold a Somali People's Conference. Where? Somewhere in the Horn of Africa, either in Ethiopia or Kenya or Somalia or Somaliland. This conference will be held, and at this conference, formal announcement about SPA, Somali People's Alliance, will be made. In yesterday's statement, SPA said that it is alarmed at the annexation of Somali territories allegedly by Afar and Oromia regions. It talked about conflict in Siti zone, Afar Somali conflict. It talked about Dirideva issues, Somali Oromo issue, and some other issues. And the two parties announced to work together for the betterment of Somali people of Ethiopia who are living in Ethiopia. Interestingly, Ethiopian ruling party, Prosperity Party, is backing and it formed and it is backing a splinter group of Ogaden National Liberation Front. That splinter ONLF is part of the government, part of Prosperity Party government in Somali region. In Somali region, Mustafa Umar is PP leader, and ONLF backed by government, not real OLF, is part of Mustafa Umar's government. This splinter ONLF issued a statement saying that it did not form any alliance with SRDA, that those who met with SRDA are not real ONLF. But Abdurrahman Mahdi is the known leader of ONLF. I think he was there in Brussels, Belgium. The government backed ONLF is trying to undermine the alliance formed in Brussels, Germany. Johar also announced, by the way, a few days ago that he will meet with other Ethiopian, non-Ethiopian politicians, and he's planning to hold a conference there. Conference about Ethiopian politics. He's working to form a formidable opposition alliance. Yes, these Ethiopian politicians will have to join hands. Nothing wrong with forming political alliances. This is how they can counter their rival. Prosperity Party is very strong. It has its reach, its presence across Ethiopia. It has backing of security forces too. At least now it has backing. So opposition will have to join hands to steer the country towards next election, which must be transparent and fair. Secondly, we are South Sudan, where curfew has been imposed by police. South Sudan split with Sudan, and these people live together. Then the split, two countries came into existence. And Sudanese people are taking refuge in Sudan, in South Sudan. Since the start of the war, they've been entering South Sudan. Around 800,000 Sudanese are living in South Sudan as refugees. Uh, what happened? Why is that police has imposed a curfew in South Sudan? In Sudan, some South Sudanese people were killed. They were killed in Wad Madani, Jazeera state. Wad Madani was under RSF control, but a few days ago, Sudanese military retook control of Wad Madani. I did a video on that, I remember. After taking control of Wad Madani, Sudan's military of General Burhan took action on South Sudanese people, accused them of supporting RSF, and 20 were allegedly killed by Sudanese military of General al-Burhan. South Sudan summoned Sudanese ambassador and protested, and then we saw start of clashes. South Sudanese people attacked Sudanese property, Sudanese people in Juba, in other parts of the country, and police had to impose curfew. Hundreds of people have been rescued by the police from the clutches of angry South Sudanese people who have been protesting, calling for attacks on Sudanese people in South Sudan. Situation is now under control, reportedly. Curfew was in place yesterday. Lastly, viewers, why is that the decisions about Somalia are made abroad? Does it mean that Somalia as a country does not have the capability to solve its internal issues? At least internal issues should be handled by Somalia's leaders. Jubaland and Mogadishu have been involved in a dispute for months. Jubaland held indirect election. Madobe was re-elected through indirect election. Federal government rejected the election. A federal court issued arrest warrants of Madobe. A court in Jubaland issued arrest warrants of Hassan Sheikh, the president of Somalia. Federal government deployed forces to Ras Kamboni to Jubaland. Jubaland threatened, and then it launched an operation, and it just killed and captured federal forces. Federal forces had to flee to Kenya to take refuge there. And then federal government suspended civilian flights to Jubaland. Federal government has not been able to remove Madobe from power. Federal government of Somalia is trying to take support from Ethiopia to remove Madobe. Madobe's Jubaland shares border with Kenya. And Kenya has been having influence in Jubaland for years. And before the start of deployment of federal forces in Jubaland a few weeks ago, Hamza Abdi Bare talked to Kenyan leaders and asked Kenya to intervene to support federal government in its bid to remove Madobe from power. Kenya remained neutral. Now Madobe is in Nairobi reportedly. Yesterday, Madobe, Jubaland president, arrived in Nairobi. Kenya is going to mediate between Madobe and Mogadishu, it seems. Not good. That's what I believe, that at least internal issues of a country should be solved by the leaders internally. It's not an issue of foreign policy. It's not Ethiopia-Somalia issue. It's Jubaland-Mogadishu dispute, which should be solved internally. And if the decisions about Somalia's internal matters are made abroad, it means that you're paving the way for foreign intervention in your country. Madobe is expected to visit UAE as well, reportedly. UAE not on good terms with federal government of Somalia. Federal government of Somalia accuses UAE of backing the MOU which Ethiopia and Somaliland signed. UAE Mogadishu relations deteriorated in recent months. Madobe forming alliances with anti-Mogadishu forces. Let's see what happens in Nairobi. Will there be a breakthrough? Will the two sides reach some agreement, Mogadishu and Madobe? That remains to be seen. Thank you for watching.